Alright, so I'm walking over to the shop and about to head out and do an estimate over in near Barataria area. Out near the boondocks. It's not that far away, but it's for a previous customer that we done. And I decided to take the Buckster with me. We'll see how this goes. He's already at it again. Telling you what, that's a drive out here to, technically I think the address here is still Marrero, but we are borderline Lafitte or Barataria, Louisiana, whatever they want to call it. But wow, man, it's a drive. It's a gloomy day, but I like it because that sun was toasting me all week. So this is for a customer that we've done their property several years in a row. For several years, not every single year in a row. We've done their house many times, but they built a house right around the corner from their house, their old house now, in what's now kind of a gated community with some raised houses out here because it floods. So gonna knock this thing out real quick and then get back to some work. Alright, this is the house right here on the right. We've actually done this aqua house here on the left several times for a gentleman, so now we're going to be quoting this one right here. And I think the pup is excited about it. Alright, let me go do a walk around, grab some pictures, talk with the gentleman, and I'll be back. Of course, I left the window open when I went out there. The seat's all wet. You okay, pup? You okay, pup? How's the big boy doing, huh? The big boy got a little wet seat too? It's okay. That was, thunderstorm came down real quick there. The pup over here got a little wet, but he's doing all right. It was, I had to run around that property, grab those pictures real quick, talk with Mr. Vic. But we're going to head back to the shop, try to get some administrative work done on a rainy day like today. And then going to go have lunch with the mommy, huh? And talk about something that I've been thinking about today, meditating on Psalm chapter 34 and verse 2. And so last week I talked about Psalm 34:1. This week I want to get into Psalm 34 verse 2. He says, "My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad." So I was just meditating on the verse this morning and reminding myself, that, man, we can get ahead of ourselves sometimes, but really the only thing that we can really boast in at the end of the day is what Jesus did for us upon the cross. We've got to walk in a life of humility. And so I'm going to let this sit in for a little while. Let's talk more about it in a little bit. That was a rainy drive back to the shop, but me and the pup are going to work on some admin stuff, clean up around here a little bit, and then go have lunch with the wifey.
Where's my boy?
Oh wow.
Where's my boy?
I had to leave him home because he was being, well, he wasn't being too bad. He was just...
You can come out your seatbelt. Do you want to help yourself?
Come out of my seatbelt.
Always have a yogurt. I always have mandarin orange. Just all in my lunchbox. I have a green powder.
Oh yeah.
And I have my protein just in case, just to have backup. And I have no excuse at work. I have hummus. I have crackers. Depends on what kind of day I'm feeling like. Mm-hmm. I have green apples. I have grapes. Well, obviously some. I've been into making.
I brought those too.
Yeah, I've been into making kind of healthier pastry option.
Right.
And so because my husband loves Aldi's blueberry muffin, so I just rather make little ones for him. It can add up when you
It's good.
go buy lunch every day of the week, if some people do it, but
So I was thinking about Psalm 34 verse 2, because last week I was really talking on 34 verse 1. The 34 verse 2, in the NLT translation it says this: I will boast only in the Lord. Let all who are defenseless take heart.
let all who are NLT?
Yeah, that was NLT. What do you have? New
I
King
will
James?
no, this is NLT. I will boast only in the Lord. Let all who are helpless take heart. So we're focusing on number 2.
So he says, I will boast only in the Lord. And I think about that really in such a kind of a prideful generation that we're in. You know, people always looking to draw, attention to their own abilities and the things that they've done, especially even in the church, even the Christian church, people who, have sought to be noticed by people for their good works, Now, I know people say, well, hey, you're making a YouTube video, you want people to see you. Yes. Well, I want them to see me so they can give glory to the Lord, And so that's what Jesus said, to let our light shine before men so they can see our good works and give glory to the Father. I think the trap, though, is when people get caught up in what they can do, how they do it, especially when they get good at it, especially when you start to see, results in your life, And it's easy to slip into that attitude of pride, and start kind of building up strength in the things that you can do, So I think David's reminding us that no matter how hard it is in life and what we're fighting against, that the only reason we can even boast, the only thing to boast in, is what Jesus has done for us on the cross, Like the power of the cross that's given us the ability to be free, to stay free, to live a life that's, blessed, that we can be healed, saved, and delivered. Speaking of healing, I started coming down with this little cold on Monday, sore throat, sniffles, all that stuff, fever a little bit on Tuesday, but I started praying, and today I woke up, I feel fine. It's Friday, it never really hit. It was just kind of like a little bit, a light thing, but I just prayed. I said, Lord, I don't want to be sick. I believe that by the stripes of Jesus, I'm healed, and so I believe I'm healed.
Which is, I've known you for 6.5 years, and prior times, it would be like a week, 2 weeks. It's like,
when I get sick, I get sick.
And I feel like when you get better, you get back sick quickly. And all right. But yeah, I know you told me that you wanted to talk about Psalms 34, and the NKJV says, my soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear of it and be glad. And I mean, growing up, we used to sing this song I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth, or my heart, slash.
Mm-hmm.
My soul shall make a boast in thee, Lord. The humble shall thereof and be glad. And then it's literally you're singing the psalm. I don't know, it's just growing up we heard, I think most of the songs were about that, but what's my take on the NLT, I will boast only in the Lord. I mean, unless we see the Lord as our refuge, our fortress, and our help, you know, we can only boast in Him. But if He's not that, and we're seeing our surrounding, whether it's our home environment, whether it's our work environment, whatever that natural that we're seeing, then we're gonna probably boast in that, or we're gonna probably complain about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think hence the reason, like, you know, the supernatural. We have to live in the supernatural. We have to live in that spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the only way that we can encourage our soul to carry on. That's what I'm thinking, you know, because, you know, in our flesh dwells nothing good. So, and
Well,
I mean,
I think it's interesting that in the New King James or the KJV it says, "My soul shall make its boast in the Lord," because the soul is related to us, like our mind, our will, our emotions. It's not, he didn't say my spirit boasts in the Lord. He said my soul. So that means like his natural man. He's, what I look at that and really in thinking is like, he's telling himself like, even though I walk in the flesh, you know, I'm going to make it praise the Lord. I'm going to make myself subjected to the exaltation of God. He's high and lifted up. I'm going to boast in Him. You know what I mean? And so when we deny ourselves, then it gives room for the spirit man to rise up and live. And so that's a key to really everyday life, because David was going through some stuff, you know. And so this was really, I think this whole psalm was at the tail end of when he had acted crazy in front of Abimelech. That he was going through some stuff, you know, and he still knew that the answer and the victory to that, came in denying himself and putting his soul under the authority and subjection of God. That's why he goes on to say that the humble, the humble shall hear of it and be glad. Or the other translation, the NLT, says, "Let all who are helpless take heart," or defenseless in this the Spanish one that I was studying. And so he's saying, look, when you're helpless, you're actually strong.
Right.
And so see how all this like mirrors the New Testament, because we hear all this repeated again, you know, through the teachings of Jesus and the apostles. You know, that, you know, Paul said, hey, you know, when I'm weak, then I'm strong, you know, I only boast in the Lord. He said the exact same stuff, you know. And so you see the continuity of Scripture there, but just that reminder that when we realize that there's only so much within our control, and the rest is in God's hands, and that He's faithful.
Yeah.
He's good. He's going to make a way. Then we can take heart or take refuge in that. We can hear of it and be glad. We can walk with joy. You know what I mean? I mean, it's simple but powerful at the same time. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we had to see the need for Jesus. That's all. We have to see the need. We had to see that He is our helper. He is the one to turn to immediately. You know, it shouldn't be like a second guess. Like, oh, well, I need help. Where am I gonna? No, I think He should automatically like, bam. You know, He is that one. And it comes like if you get a caught, you know, you lack something, you need something. That's in the natural sense. You automatically know what you're gonna do. You know. And I mean, like, the Lord is our helper, and we should boast in it. Yeah.
Make it known, you know. And it sounds crazy to people because you talk to people at work or in your work environment, or you talk to people outside of the church in general, and you tell them stuff like, I just trust the Lord. You know, they think you're crazy. You know?
They'll be like, oh, you're so spiritual. You're like a saint. Like, we know exactly what you're gonna say. Well, okay. Well, be known for that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than be known for the one that grumbles, complain, or be negative, you know?
I thought you were going to say be known for the gumbo.
Actually,
That would be
nah,
cool.
I had like dirty rice. I smell like dirty rice. Yeah.
Well, it's a delicious smell.
Yeah.
But yes, you know, if you're going to be known for anything, be known for the person that simply is crazy enough to trust the Lord.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Kind of like what David is doing in this Psalms right here. Can I borrow your fork? I totally forget to grab one.
And so, yeah, it's a constant, you know, theme in all of his writings. He's always coming back to that place of, you know, I'm humbling myself before the Lord. I surrender my way, you know. Teach me your ways. As we've been studying through Psalm 119 as well, you see that over and over. I will trust. I will rest. You know, I will seek.
Yeah.
I will lift. You know, and he's constantly coming back to that point of it's about God. It's about the Lord. You know.
Well, I
It's
think
all about
as
him.
believers, like, we have the greatest help of all, and it's the Lord.
Mhm.
And we have to utilize that or activate that in regards to, you know, getting so familiar with the fact that, man, the Lord is my helper. You know, even in the earlier Psalms, he said, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, it comfort me. So constantly, throughout the Psalms, David is making it known, or he's being repetitive that, man, the Lord is my helper. He helps me. He's there for me, you know. And you see all different types of characteristics or scenarios that he was going through. Like, you know, whether if he's hungry or in front of someone or he's running for his life, you know, hey, he's in a cave. You see that he's constantly, my God, my Lord, you know. And also, too, he's talking about his soul boasting. You know, he uses the different parts of his body just glorifying the Lord. I will dance, you know, I will sing, I will clap my hands, I will shout. So it's like in every part of his body to identify. Or when he say, I will look, you know, like utilizing the eye. So it's really even our five senses. Everything he's saying.
Well, it's really like his writings are kind of the reverse of the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, and the pride of life. It's like the surrender of the flesh, the surrender of his eyes, and the surrender of his life. Always in the hands of the Lord. It really is, because you said, like, it says that through all of his writings, you know. I will clap, I will dance. You know, he's always talking about, you know, something in his life that he's got to bring under subjection. His flesh, his eyes, and his soul, his life, you know. And so, yeah, it's really just awesome stuff. I mean, I never get tired of reading the Psalms. I never do. In fact, every single day when I open up the Bible, I always go, I usually start there before I go anywhere else. I mean, because it's just refreshing to get into a psalm, you know. Some people go to the Proverbs, and I like to dip into those too, but I think maybe even as a musician, it just helps because, like, I always wonder too, like, what it sounded like when he wrote this, because these were songs, these were hymns, you know, they were meant to be sung. So I always sit there and just ponder on that for a moment. So I wonder what this sounded like, you know. And I wonder if he forgot some of the tunes that he'd written, because, you know, I'm sure a lot of these old songs were written to a similar melody, but I wonder if he ever looked back personally at, you know, Psalm 2 or something and was like, man, I totally forgot how that goes. You know, I got the words, I don't remember the tune, because he didn't have a digital recorder or a camera to do it on. But yeah, that's just besides the thought. Anyway, that wraps up our kind of little lunch date over Psalm 34 verse 2. And so I'm going to spend a little quiet time with my love before she goes back to work, and see if we can figure out what we're gonna try to do Saturday since you're not working. Some stuff around the house, possibly.
Yes, house projects.
Yeah, we'll see. So until next time, keep seeking the Lord. Keep looking to Him for your help, for your strength and your refuge. Always keep your eyes on the prize and your knees on the ground. God bless.
Mhm.